That's why I talked about the Congress of Vienna, Napoleon, and the War of 1870. Are we all good with that?
Yeah.
Everybody's nodding their head, yes, I'll find out on the head, someone's even listening. Right. The War of 1409. So it was close, it was 1870.
30 to 40.
All right, so the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 is the most important war that you can ever not know, meaning you should know this. Any Slav can talk about World War I. It takes a special Slav to talk about this, okay? If you can talk about the War of 1870, you've really distinguished yourself from your public school counterpart Slavs, all right? So, War of 1870 is huge. If France wins that war, France is not a bunch of barbarians. They're a cultured, smart, educated populace. The world will not devolve into chaos. The Prussians are just bastards. They have guns and they're like one, and they have one mentality. The fact that Prussia won that war meant the world turned that way toward militarism. And then comes World War I. That's why it's so crucial. Okay, so here comes the War of 1870. Between 1870 and 1914, what's everybody doing? They don't care about the poor, they don't care about feeding the hungry, they don't care about anything else except making weapons, military build-up. Everybody's making weapons. They're making machine guns, they're making tanks, they're making chemical weapons, they're making airplanes. That's all they're doing all over Europe. So remember, if you're poor, are you getting any help at that time? No. You're getting squat, because every bit of money is going toward weapons. And I don't know how you feel about that, but there's a point where you can't train out in the gym for 9 months and not want to see how good you look and take your shirt off. Does that make sense? All right? So, in other words, you've been training in the gym for 40 years. At this point, it's time for Europe to take a shirt off and see how it looks. Is that a good metaphor?
Yeah.
And they go, you ever see the dudes that go in the mirror like that? That's very weird.
You see the one commercial about Planet
Wait, don't you watch
You see the one Planet Fitness commercial that's like this one green bug? Meters. I gotta see me, it's me.
It's just strange.
Me.
All right, so everybody over Europe is making weapons. Now, the problem is you can't swing a dead cat without hitting an empire. That's the problem. If you had a war where it was just France against Germany, it's one thing, but you didn't. You had a war where it was these central figures and all the 87 countries around them central figures. That's the biggest problem, okay? There were empires all over Europe. Okay, so now, when you shook everything out, right, you just shook it out. These are the two major camps, if you know what I mean by that. I think you've had this before. First class said they've had it. Okay, these are the two major camps. Camp number one, the bad guys. They call themselves the Triple Alliance.
The way you said it, I can't.
Like Hallmark. Okay, they call themselves the Triple Alliance. This is Germany. All right, they're always the bad guys. You know, they're always the bad guys. Germany. They got Italy to jump in. Although Italy will later switch sides. You know, a few Italians out there. You just kind of went, you know. Whoever was winning, you jumped like your front runners. Anyway, you had Germany, they got Italy, and they got the Ottoman Empire. They're badasses. Okay. You're going to start calling these guys the Axis powers. Is all this familiar?
Yeah.
Good, okay, I'm just saying, these are the Axis powers. So when they look across the battlefield, who are they looking at? They're looking at what's called the Triple Entente. I know, the Triple Entente. This just means friend. Entente, okay, like friendly. So, these guys are the good guys. France, Russia, Great Britain. And we're going to start calling them the Allies. I think all this is review. I just want to make sure you know it. And I think the first class pretty much knew a lot of it. All right. So now, you have this Europe. Everyone's got all kinds of stockpiling weapons. Everybody's divided off into camps. Everybody knows whose side they're on. Europe is one big powder keg. You know what a powder keg is? It's a barrel full of...
Ready to blow up.
Yes, it's a barrel full of gunpowder. All it takes is a match. So Europe is one giant powder keg. All it takes is a match. Something to throw something in, and everything's going to get obliterated. What was the match that got thrown into Europe? A guy named the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Just know the name. Archduke, yes, he's a Habsburg. You might even remember that name.
Wasn't he murdered?
Yes, yes, exactly. So you see, I think you've heard this. There's a guy named Franz Ferdinand. He's a nobleman, a duke. all right? He's from the family of the Habsburgs, the Austrian Empire. There's this guy. His name is, anybody? Gavrilo Princip? Okay, that's the guy who shot him. So this guy here started World War I. That guy. Imagine being him, like imagine being like his ancestors. Can you imagine like if your great uncle was him?
40 million people.
Imagine if your great uncle was
Imagine if
him.
your great uncle was Hitler.
Let me write this
You're
down.
right, that's probably worse.
The average person.
I knew
I'd rather have, you're right, I'd rather have French president. Anyway, this young guy, he's like, let's say he's 18 years old. He's a hothead. Why did he kill him? He was from a country called Serbia. Don't worry about all the details here. He's from a country called Serbia. He didn't want to be associated with the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He wanted to be like his own country. So, he figured if I shoot his ass, right, Serbia could be their own country. So he was a nationalist, a Serbian nationalist. So what does he do? One day Franz Ferdinand's driving by in a car with his wife Sophie and...
And they were like supposed to throw a grenade in the car and then like...
You know the weird thing? I think at first he missed.
Yeah, he did.
And then he got really close.
Like I think when the guy's driving by, he missed, right? And then something happened. He went around the block, and all of a sudden he ran around the block, and then he shot him, and then he killed him. So he got a second chance to assassinate him. Anyway, this is where, okay, what?
What's the match?
That's the match that lit the powder keg. Him. In other words, it was one guy dying, which caused 40 million deaths, like Merriman said. One guy dying caused 40 million other guys.
Franz
Okay,
Ferdinand.
what? Okay, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Okay. He gets killed by a young guy named Gavrilo Princip, all because he does not want Serbia to be a nation aligned to like his nation. So if he figures if I kill him, I can get away. Well, by the way, it didn't work. This sets off World War I, the 40 years of the worst fighting in the 20th century. All right. I told you, again, your history teacher can cover all strategy. I assume you do strategy in history? Okay. I'm not doing strategy. I'm not doing all the battles. You gotta know something. All right, you said the name Mr. Buchanan. I'll give you one battle that I can take with me in life. This is the battle you take with you. Why? What's the matter? What battle do you take?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, if you said, give me one battle that you think exemplifies the horror of World War I. There's a river in France called the Somme. Okay, the Somme. At that one battle. A million guys went down. Let that sink in. At one battle, 1 million young men went down. And then multiply that by 4 years of battles. Remember I said to you, the problem with this war was you were fighting a 19th century war with 20th century weapons. If you were using bayonets, great, but you weren't using bayonets, you were using machine guns. You were using chemical weapons, you were using bombs, you were using tanks, and they were dying by the millions. Okay? The world had never seen anything like this. The world had never seen anything like this. For 1,000 years, if you lost 1,300 men in a battle, that was considered a catastrophe. If you lost 800 men, that was a bad loss. Now we're losing millions. Welcome to the modern age. Scary shit. Okay, so, the Battle of the Somme, 1 million men go down. Total, Merriman's right, about 40 million men go down in 4 years. 10 million men a year, about 1 million men a month are losing their lives. Just let that sink in. 1 million men every month for 4 years over in Europe are dying. Yeah, I'm gonna go light on the total, but it's roughly that. Okay, and by the way, that's a relative figure, could be more. All right, in Germany alone, 1 out of every 4 young men died. In Germany alone, 25% of the male population is dead. What's the problem with that, Trent? What's the biggest problem with losing 25% of your population?
There's a lot of possible bad.
You have a lot of possible husbands and fathers that won't be there to do what culture needs it to do. This decimates Germany. I'll bet you it took Germany 3 generations to recover from this.
Well, wasn't it like Hitler that
We're going to get to him because he's going to, they're going to look to Hitler to recover it.
Hitler never would have been there if there wasn't World War I.
Bingo.
Because he could have died in World War I, but originally.
Oh, Hitler? Yeah. Okay, and you do know I said they really are the same war with like a 15-year break. All right, so after all this, right? Like your history teacher do everything else. Okay, the war is going to end. Finally, Germany, the Axis powers will lose, the Allies will win, the good guys will win, good. They had the Treaty of Versailles, which by a strange coincidence was signed November 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning. So it's 11/11/11 in 1918. They signed the treaty 11/11/11 in 1918, the Treaty of Versailles, to end this war. All right, remember I said to you at the Congress of Vienna, France had started all the shit? So every time you made a decision, what'd you do to France? You kept smacking them around, because we don't want to be here. We're having a meeting for like you know what I mean? We have to have a meeting now, because Patillo won't stop his shit. So every time we make a decision, we smack Patillo. Oh, I took a crane here to do this, I'm a girl. Anyway, so every time we have a meeting, right, so now, we kept smacking France. Well, how did France respond? They were pissed, they were humiliated. Germany got smacked around in the Treaty of Versailles 10 times more than France ever got smacked around. Okay, in the Treaty of Versailles, Germany got smacked around 10 times more than France ever got smacked around. Number one, what did the world demand from Germany? You have to pay for all the damage. Number one, they didn't have the money. They're going to have to borrow it from who, by the way? United States. Let that sink in. Huh?
Then they end up
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so number one, they said you have to pay for the damage to Europe. And Germany went, what? Go.
Didn't they also reduce their army to 1/8 of what it was?
What's the rep?
They wanted basically their army to be, all right, basically when you say 1/8, it meant you have no, anything.
125,000 people.
Yes, in other words, I want to give you this. Their army was ordered to be disbanded, but they could keep it like a token force. But okay, ready? So if you're Germany, we want you to pay back Europe, fix Europe. Number two, you know that army you love so much? Goodbye. And number three, here's the one that you're not going to really understand, but I'll bet you this is a bigger factor than the first two. Remember I said to you, Germany has always been in the center of Europe. Everything that ever went through Europe went through Germany. Everything. Germany had a pride that they thought they were going to basically have their day in the sun. When they went to the Treaty of Versailles, what did the world do to German pride? You have pride. You know what pride is. There's something inside you that you have pride. And for someone to take that away might be the single worst thing you can do to another person. Do you agree? We took Germany's pride from them. We destroyed German pride. What's the problem with that? Germany's pride was everything to them. So in other words, so now if you're a German, what are you thinking about yourself and your culture? Your self-doubt, you don't like yourself, blah, 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 blah. You need someone to come along and restore German pride. Who was it, Marlon? Who came along to restore German pride? That's why Hitler came. Germany wanted someone to make me proud to look in the mirror again and be German. Because when you were looking in the mirror, what you saw was a monster. And how many times can you look in the mirror and see a monster without hating yourself? So if you're Germany, but see, here's why this treaty was so bad. They shouldn't have done it to them. I know Germany's a bad guy. I know what they did was wrong. But you can't take somebody you beat up and just rub their nose in shit for 3 days. You can't do that to people. This is going to come back to haunt the Western world in the form of World War II. If they hadn't done this to Germany, maybe you can avoid World War II. But once they took their nose and just rubbed it in shit, Germany went, guess what, we're coming back. Anyway, and they're going to come back with Hitler and ovens and all that shit. So when they come back bad. All right, so World War I, boom, bad thing, all right, but it's over. All right, when you look around Europe, what are we looking at? All right, go to England, right? What's the problem with Great Britain? They're basically, they're broke. They got nothing left, no money. Not to mention loss of life, they're broke. All right, let's go south to France. They're broke, no money. Europe itself, physically, is in tatters. It's bombed out. You got nothing. The Russian Empire, what happened to that? It is gone with a capital G. The Russian Empire, gone. It lasted for 1,000 years. World War I killed it.
What is Europe?
You should know a little bit about this. You should get this in history, but in case you should, right? Okay. Who was the leader of Russia? The Tsar. Who was the last name of what was the last name? Are you familiar with this at all?
Alexander?
Romanov. Are you familiar with it? Know the name. Okay. The Romanovs were the ruling family. The Tsar, the Tsarina, and their 7 kids. Okay. At one point, the Tsar got the great idea to go lead the Russian soldiers in the battle. People, there's a reason why sometimes the king should sit home on the throne where he belongs. The Tsar went out to the battlefield and he led millions of Russians to their death because he was no general. He sucked. Now, if you're a Russian, what are you thinking? You bastard. My brother, my son, my father, my husband, you killed everybody in my family. What's going to happen is the Romanovs are suddenly going to be hated in Russia. Who's going to hate them the most? It's 2 guys named? Okay, you don't have to know everybody's name. These two names you have to know to be human. Okay? You can't walk around and you can't talk about you can't talk about baseball if you can't name these 2 guys. All right? Lenin and Stalin are 2 communists. They're going to basically kill the Tsar and his family and take over Russia. You got to know that. Okay? So, Great Britain broke. France broke. Europe, tatters. Russian Empire completely changed around. Austro-Hungarian Empire, gone. Ottoman Empire, gone. Everything that Europe had known for 1,000 years is now what?
Sure.
Gone. Go.
What is the one in Stalin?
Did you ever hear their names? Okay, these are 2 communists who are going to basically, well, this one here will lead it, he'll come in later. But just know these 2 names. This guy is going to basically have this guy's whole family shot and killed.
Romanovs.
And here come the communists.
She killed them.
Okay?
They
Now,
killed him.
do you agree with me? I'm almost done. Do you agree with me? You know enough about history and geography to know that this means that Europe had been decimated. It is nothing like it had been for 500 years. It's got to be rebuilt. Okay. Now, one last thing. One last thing. In 1917, when this happened, Russia leaves the war on the Allied side. And everybody shit their pants because they thought, uh-oh, what are we going to do? Who saved the day? America came in. Okay. Now, I want you to know a couple terms. First, know the term doughboy. You'll hear this. It was an affectionate nickname for the American soldier. Okay? So, the Americans will send soldiers over to Europe. All right, Patil, you seem like you know enough about this. Did we or did we not save Europe's ass? We did. We saved Europe's ass. All right, now Patillo, let's get cynical. Let's get cynical. You know what I mean by cynical? Do you think we went over there? And I'm not, by the way, I love America. Why did we do it? In other words, we're over here. I got an ocean between me and Germany. I ain't got to go anywhere. Go.
All Americans wanted to explore. They wanted to go out and find a native.
Money.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's on a very social level. Who said money? I think, see, wait a minute. That's very, now, I said let's be cynical. If I'm being cynical, why do I think America would go over there and make sure the Allies won this? Because at that point, they became Europe's banker. If you had $80 million invested in Europe, wouldn't you make damn sure your side won?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's if we're being cynical. What Patillo said was more like what? More humanitarian. Okay, but I'm saying, now here's the weird thing. So America's going to save Europe's ass. I think you could be cynical and say the reason why we went might be because we had millions and millions of dollars invested, and we weren't about to see that money go down the toilet. But here's where it's weird. In a sense, what did America just become the second we went over there? Because we had so much money invested, in a sense, someone has to go over and make sure our money's safe. We became the world's policeman. You agree? Do you want to be the world's policeman?
Seems like a hell of a title.
It's a big responsibility. Now, if you said to me, do I think America became the world's policeman because we believed in law and order and justice? Maybe in my finer moments, yes. But I also believe we became the world's policeman because we have a lot of money to protect over there. And we weren't about to see it shitted away. And what? Yes. Okay? But we are the world's policeman, and I'm not always sure we should be. But we are. Are we good? All right. We'll pick up Hitler and stuff next week.
Yes.
Go.
So,